So last year, exactly during this time frame, I hated online college, had zero confidence and was standing at 348 subscribers on YouTube and thinking to myself, was all the nights which I putting back then, will they ever make any sense to me? And now, within a year, I stand in front of you to share my story. So last year, exactly during this time frame, I hated online college, had zero confidence and was standing at 348 subscribers on YouTube and thinking to myself, was all the nights which I putting back then, will they ever make any sense to me? And now, within a year, I stand in front of you to share my story. Namaste. My name is Akash Majumdar. I am a 20-year-old content creator, filmmaker, YouTuber and a full-time student at VNIT Nagpur as well. Now you might think, Akash, what's the big deal out here? Well, I was born in Kolkata, West Bengal in 2002 and throughout my childhood, I was hopping across different cities in India due to my dad's transfer from Bhubaneswar, Raipur, Udaipur to now here in Mumbai. As a result, every couple of years, I had to make new friends, which instead increased my confidence and communication skills to the next level. While growing up, my parents made sure that I got every basic necessities of life, right from top-notch education to equal exposure in sports. But one day, when I was 13 or 14 years old, I remember my mother telling me a story about how they used to pour cold water over our bed when I was around 3 or 4 years old, just to tackle the heat waves in Kolkata when we couldn't afford any ACs or coolers or luxuries like that. I realized that I had to do something with my life in order to repay would be the wrong word, but to give my parents the life they deserved, and education was the only way I found back then. I doubled down on my studies, and while growing up, another part of this is that I was very insecure about myself. I was fat, for which I was bullied a lot in school, but I was equally good in sports and education back then, which kind of maintained my confidence level throughout. I scored 96.2% in class 10th and was progressing good in club level cricket as well. Then class 11th happened, science stream happened and things started taking a turn. Juggling between sports and studies was getting tough for me, and now a time came when I had to choose between any one of them. Thinking practically from my perspective as a 15-year-old, I chose studies. I doubled down on my studies back then, was well prepared for board exams, but now there is an exam in India known as IIT JEE, which gets you into the top engineering colleges. Students prepare for it since class 7th or 8th, but I came to know about it when I was in class 11th or on the verge of finishing class 11th. I was not studying for it, loitering around with my friends most of the day, and then one day my father comes to me and tells me that, why are you not studying? I told him that I am studying, I am well prepared for boards and I will ace it. But he was like, why are you not preparing for any kind of competitive exams? I told, I don't need to, because I am roaming around with my friends, I need to spend my time as well. He told me something which struck with me, because my father is such kind of a person who doesn't come to me and scolds me much, but he said that you need to be a bit selfish now. I told him being selfish is bad actually, you know. He told me be selfish until a point when you're toxic to yourself. You need to start giving a bit less time to your friends and more time to yourself in order to grow in life. From the next day, everything changed. I started doubling down on my time on studies, gave IIT JEE, cleared JEE mains within a year, and after that, I thought, okay, now we need to do something. My board exams were about to end, and I had planned with my friend that we would be starting a juice selling business. I was always curious about learning new things and doing practical things in life from which I can actually learn. We had planned to do it in the end of March 2020, but you know what hit in March 2020? The coronavirus, the pandemic started. Our main intention behind starting that juice selling business was 3 things. To earn some cash before our college starts, to go around there and learn how a business is actually operated, and finally, to learn how to talk to people and understand the psychology behind selling. Now, as I told, the lockdown had struck and we were all sitting at home getting bored. Throughout the past year, I was solely focused on studies, due to which I had detached myself from the complete world, both offline and online, due to which my communication skills were again back to level 0. I had to start over it all again. I had no people to talk around me, and that's when YouTube happened seriously. I used to write down articles based on the things which were happening around the world at that point of time. From COVID to how the social media is destructing you to how the Indian education system had failed us. I wrote articles about them, narrated them, edited them and uploaded them on YouTube, and mind you, all of this was happening just with the help of my smartphone. No fancy gears, no nothing. I was enjoying the entire process. I started freelancing too, and I still remember the first freelance gig which I got. It paid me around 600 rupees and it made me feel that I was the richest man on earth back then. Things were going pretty good until December, when my online college had started. 2nd December 2020. From 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. that was my first day of college and the first class, and trust me, that was the most energy draining hour of my entire life. Throughout the upcoming weeks, I started to hate my online college to such an extent that I was sleeping when classes used to happen. I realized that I need to do something about it. Things can't go downhill like this. I gave more and more time to freelancing and fell in art with the love of filmmaking and telling stories. It was about 1.5 years of me creating content on the internet, but I was not getting any sustainable growth. I was at 348 subscribers pushing out content daily. Yes, it was a bit demotivating, but at the back end, I was enjoying the complete process of it. But how did things take a turn? I'll tell you a short incident behind it. During the month of July, we had a presentation in our college for which I was genuinely prepared for. I went there, and due to some odd reason, I fumbled pretty bad, and the teacher in charge said something which felt really humiliating back then, and I was kind of feeling devastated. I had two options: either take his or her words to my heart and just lie on my bed the whole day, or second, use it as a fuel to skyrocket my content creation journey once again. Needless to say, I focused on the second part, and you won't believe the next 2 to 3 videos which I uploaded after that. I increased everything from the level of storytelling, from the level of filmmaking to the level of production quality, and they went viral on the internet, clocking around 5 million views till date. It took me 1.5 years to reach around 348 subscribers, but within the next 1.5 weeks, we had come up to 10,000 subscribers. Things were getting out of mind for me, and a lot of people were asking me that, what's the secret sauce behind it? How are you doing it so quickly? When I look back then, I didn't have any answer. I was enjoying the process. I enjoyed making videos, I enjoyed telling stories when no one was watching me, and I still do today. And I guess that is what made me come here. But when I look behind right now, I find a few reasons which I would like to share with you. Number one, my niche was in the edtech industry, and out there everybody was just throwing bits and pieces of information on the internet. No one was narrating stories using techniques of storytelling and filmmaking, which I filled the gap out there. Students connected with me. They saw themselves in me, and that's why they gave so much love, and it provided me the growth on internet. And in today's world, I believe everybody has something to share. Everybody has a story to tell, but you don't have much mediums. And YouTube has provided that audio-visual medium for you to go out there and express yourself. One thing which I write back then was I didn't wait for anything. All of this was happening just with the power of my smartphone. 7 to 8 months down the line, I hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, a number which I only could have dreamt of back then when I started. And mind you, that too happened with my smartphone. From the night I turned 18, I had made a rule for myself that my parents from today will only pay for my needs, and I shall go out there and work for my wants. I started hitting the gym. I needed to supplement it with whey protein. I made sure I worked for it. I started making videos. I wanted to get a camera. I made sure I reach a state where I can go out there and comfortably afford a camera. And in today's world, if someone comes up and says ki you don't have any kind of resources, you're simply lying. Because if you can hear me right now, number one, you have an internet connection, and number two, you have a device, either a mobile or a laptop, and that's pretty much enough for you to start your journey. So after all this, you might ask me that, Akash, what's your goal to be on YouTube? Well, my only goal to be on YouTube right now is not to influence. I hate being coined as the term influencer. Rather, I want to come up here and create an impact. Today's teenager youth is going downward into the spiral of consuming mindless content, getting affected by fake influencers, and getting more and more obsessed about brands. I want to change that. I have been real in my videos since day one and strive to be. I have my own set of personal insecurities which I have learned to accept in the right way, and in order to work with them, I am still finding out my ways. While ending, I would just like to say is that whatever it is, be it making your first video or be it preparing for any kind of exam, just start and take that first step. It might not make any sense to you today, nor to the people around you, but in the long term, you never know where your step can take you. But I know for a fact, my first single step back in 2020 has landed me here, and I'm sure I have a long way to go. That was all from my side, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Akash Majumdar, and I believe I have just started and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you.
अगर आप इस टॉक के एंड तक पहुंच चुके हैं तो मैं आपको जोश टॉक्स का एक दूसरा रूप भी दिखाना चाहता हूं, जिससे मैं काफ़ी देर से जुड़ा हुआ हूं और मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद है कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं। जोश टॉक्स ने एक नया ऐप लॉन्च किया है जिसका नाम है जोश स्किल्स। अब वो नया नहीं रहा, काफ़ी टाइम से है, लाखों लोग उसको अब यूज़ करते हैं। और जोश स्किल्स पे आप अपनी ज़िंदगी के लिए कोर्सेज ढूंढ सकते हैं। वो कोर्स नहीं जो आपको फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, कॉमर्स, बिजनेस स्टडीज पढ़ाएंगे, वो कोर्सेज जो आपकी जिंदगी में आपको कैसे जीना चाहिए वो सिखाएंगे। मैंने खुद जो स्किल्स पे बहुत सारे कोर्सेज बनाए हैं, पब्लिक स्पीकिंग पे, इमोशनल क्राइसिस कैसे हैंडल किया जाए, अपनी पर्सनालिटी कैसे डेवलप की जाए। हर एक कोर्स में डेली क्विजेज हैं, एक्सरसाइजेज हैं, एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत कम्युनिटी है जो आपको सपोर्ट करेगी, आपको इनकरेज करेगी। आज ही डाउनलोड करें जोश स्किल्स का ऐप और उनके कोर्सेज एक्सप्लोर करके अपनी जिंदगी को आगे बढ़ाएं।
Josh Talks is now a Spotify exclusive podcast. The audio version of our talks will be available only on Spotify. If you like this video and you like to listen to more inspiring stories like this, please follow the Josh Talks podcast only on Spotify.
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.